what's up? Jyles here from the Jyles FBA podcast. And I'm with the Big Mike and Dave. Dave, what's up, dude?
What is up? I'm good.
Good to hear. How have you been? We've had Dave on months ago. How have you been since, I don't know, 6 months ago or whenever we took the last one?
I've been great. I've definitely grown a lot. My businesses have done much better. So grown as a person too. So lots of good stuff.
Can't wait to dive in and touch on all the new stuff, improvements, new businesses, all that good stuff. So first off, what is the recap in the last 6 months? How even touching on Q4, how was Q4 for you? How was the opening of the new business that you can kind of speak on and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so Q4 was pretty good. I mean, I did very well for the most part. You know, a couple hiccups here and there as everybody has, but I haven't looked at my revenue numbers in a minute, so I couldn't give you that exactly. But I know probably right around 30,000 in revenue. For November was like 25. December, I couldn't FBM for the second half of the month. I went on a family vacation, so it was a little less, but I jumped right into Q1 and I did 30, 40, and then 30 something again. So done really well these past few months, probably better than I did in Q4, to be honest, but jumping a little bit into that new business. I started a new business, a drop servicing business back in November. For the first month, 2 month, 3 month, it really was like nothing. Just kind of getting your feet wet in the business. We'll dive a little more into that, but that took a lot of my time during December, and then early into this year as well.
Yeah, that's funny. I think when we did the first podcast, you hinted at getting into a new business, and I'm assuming it's the cleaning business that you're fully into now, right?
That's exactly right, yeah.
That's kind of cool to look back on, and now you're actually in it, and now you're doing numbers with it. Can you kind of dive in on how this cleaning business works? Because I kind of get the gist of it just from like your Instagram and just from putting pieces together, I guess. But can you kind of give us an idea of how the remote cleaning business works?
Yeah, so I started a remote cleaning, drop servicing, referral agency, whatever you want to call it, business back in November, and I chose home cleaning. It's a service, of course, so it's very different than Amazon. I wanted to do something service-based. So essentially, I own a cleaning company, and I do all the advertising, all the scheduling, all the payments, all the customer service. I do everything except clean. That's where I outsource, and I refer qualified cleaners, and they go do the cleaning, and they make about 50% of each clean total, and then I keep the rest. So that's kind of the little gist of it.
That's awesome. And
yeah,
the big thing about cleaning is the place I live now. I live with my uncle and aunt, and they have cleaning ladies that come every, I want to say once a month. So it's a retainer client. So if you can get 5, 10, 15, 100 clients a month that are reoccurring, either bi-weekly or monthly or bi-monthly or whatever it is, that's insane if you can just keep generating clients, reoccurring clients, which is awesome.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly right. Building
kind of, yeah, give us a breakdown of month one from November, like you said, you're just getting your feet wet, to today, April 1st. What's the breakdown and what you've learned as a whole within the business, within sales, within just kind of like the entire breakdown of the business? What have you learned from November to now?
Yeah, so again, like this is something that was completely different from anything I've ever done. So it was really cool. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, and this definitely did it. I started November 1st. I joined a program. It took me about 3 weeks to set up all the back-end stuff, setting up my CRM, setting up my business phone number, my website, stuff like that, getting my ad platforms all set up, that kind of stuff. That took about 3 weeks. But after that 3 weeks, I really didn't expect to get any clients until like the following month. But I ended up getting 6 cleans, I believe it was, in November. That was totaling, I think, $1,400 in revenue. Again, I was still in the hole from everything, but I mean, I had some clients, right? Which was great. So kind of kicked off a little pretty good there. And then Going into December, I had, I think, like 9 or 10 cleans. And again, I turned off my advertisements because I was spending, time with my family for half the month. So kind of slow, could have been better, especially if I had the full, 4 weeks of December. I would have probably done double of what I did, which, going back, I don't regret it. I had a good time, So then it was kind of nice. I got back in January. It was like restarting, essentially. I got to redo everything. I hadn't had any recurring clients. I think I maybe had 1 or 2 at that point. And then January was pretty slow. I had another like 9 cleans. I was like a little disappointed, but I was learning a ton. Like that's the huge part of it. I'm still, keep in mind, that's 3 months in. You really can't expect too much. And then February, I had the first 3 weeks of the month. I had 3 total cleans. It was depressing. I thought I was a failure. I hated it. But then it was like a switch where all of a sudden the phone just kept ringing. I kept closing people, and I ended up having I think it was like 14, 15, 16 cleans in the next 2 weeks, something like that, where it might have been even more than that, to be honest. So it was 21 cleans. That's why I knew that for a fact now, because it went from 3 cleans in 3 weeks to 21 cleans in 2 weeks or something like that, right? So it really started to kick up. And then last month, March, was fantastic. I did over 40 cleans, and I did $8,500 in revenue. And then with this business, it's a lot more recurring clients I've gained, and the margins are much healthier than Amazon. I'm profiting like 40%, which is super nice. Additionally, one thing you don't have to do is you don't have to reinvest your capital. You can. You don't have to. You can just pocket that, right? So I'm 40%, that's, let's just call it $4,000, $3,000, $4,000, 3,500, we'll call it. To make that on Amazon, you got to sell 25, 30 grand, whereas I did 8,500. So margins are much nicer, which is a huge reason I started it. And like you said, I've learned everything. My sales skills, I had no prior experience. That's probably the biggest thing that I learned is sales. I mean, it's just, you pick it up after some time, you get better at it. Now I feel like I'm still learning, of course, but I definitely am a lot more confident on the phone. It's a huge part of it. And I feel like I'm pretty all right at it. And it's working out. This month, April 1st, I already have over 20 cleans on my books, and I haven't done any work yet. So that's already going to be a few $1,000s in revenue, which again, like we kind of talked about, the money is in reoccurring. That's because you don't have to keep working for it. Just keeps going. I have people on as often as weekly. I have several weekly clients now, which is just awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Going back to the program that you went through, if you want to plug the program and how the program was helpful to you, in terms, because a lot of people will want to create a business, even if it's Amazon cleaning service, but they won't make the jump of paying that $50 or $500 for that program to kind of launch them into getting the proper knowledge. So how essential was that program in terms of your early success now, I guess?
I think it was crucial. Now, the program is called DSA, Drop Servicing Academy. 3 guys that run it are John, Mark, and Parker. Back when I started, it was just John and Mark. Now Parker is now an owner and an operator in there. He's just provides a ton of value, along with John and Mark. They're all fantastic. When I was down in Miami, I actually got to meet John and Mark, which was cool. Met my mentors in person, which was sick. I got some dinner, did that. And then the program itself is on the pricey side. Back when I started, or back when I joined, it was $2,600. Now it's up to like $5,000. Personally, I think it's definitely worth it. It's a complete blueprint. Obviously, there's a course aspect, but that's not really where the value is. The value is in the legitimate one-on-one. It's not like, oh, okay, we're going to have a group call here and there. No, it's like I have a weekly call, or I could have daily calls if I wanted, one-on-one with any 3 of those guys. Additionally, there's we have, I think, 8 group calls per week for different topics and different things like that, all of which provide tons of value. So I get a little commission if you join and you mention me, but it's fantastic. I really love it. I credit, my success to it, because without it, I don't think I would be even close to where I am. It's just immense help with growing. And that applies to a lot of things, right? Like, I think investing in yourself, which that's what that is crucial to your success in any business or any realm of your life for that matter. So for me, I'm always willing to pay for a course, especially if I know it's something that's going to provide me value and learn something new, which is really what the end goal is.
Does that group per se, so you essentially do drop servicing, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, drop servicing.
Is this a general, broad how to start drop servicing, or is it specific to cleaning like you're doing?
So when I started, like when I first joined, it was actually called Spotless Academy, which was focused directly on cleaning. But they got kind of smart and they decided to make it more general, which it's still very much cleaning focused. I'm pretty sure everybody in there has a cleaning business or started a cleaning business, but there are people that have ventured to other business models, or other, not business models, but ventures. Like, I know there's one guy in there that does window installation, doing the same business model, but something completely different, right? I know there's people that are doing window cleaning. There's people that are doing car detailing. There's people that are doing pressure washing. All these different home services can all be applied with the same knowledge. Now, yes, it is catered towards cleaning, but everything can be applied to all those businesses. And like I said, there are people that are doing other things in there besides cleaning. Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you have to find your own employees, or did you say go to, is there some site or software you looked for in your area where freelancers were ready to sign up and do your work per se?
Yes. So I hire from Indeed mainly. I post on Indeed, regular job listing, go through hundreds of applications, conducts tons of interviews, and then make hiring decisions. I also have used Nextdoor. I don't know if either of you've heard of that, but it's like a local social media. You join like your neighborhood, and the way that I use that is so I'll go on there and I'll search, like on the search bar, like house cleaning, and then I'll find someone else who is asking, hey, I need a house cleaner and yada, 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 right? And then I'll go to the comments and see who people recommended. Then I'll go and I'll contact those people because I already have someone that's vouching for them, and, I can sort of trust them that way. So I found cleaners that way. And another way that I really haven't dove into is the same concept. It's using Facebook groups. Those mom groups that are, again, I'd search house cleaning and look for recommendations. It's all the same concept, but the main one would be Indeed. I found the most success with Indeed for sure.
That's awesome. Sounds like you're doing a lot of managerial stuff on a pretty new business. That just sounds sweet for if you were to break even every month, the value you get out of that's insane.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
And with sales, you can obviously say you do want to
make money anywhere.
Yeah. Or sell, any product, any service. I mean, sales is obviously a very important skill to have in terms of having a business or running a business, all that good stuff. So that's good. And also you hit on, it was $2,600 for the program, right?
That's how much I paid. Now it's up to about $5,000.
Okay, so 5,000, even 5,000. I mean, people, and even myself, is like, whoa, 5,000. But if you put it into perspective in terms of like college, some people are paying $20,000 a year to go to college, which is crazy. Over 4 years. I mean, $80,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars for college. So to put it in perspective of college to like a course, I mean, it's really not that much, which is interesting. That was kind of
I think spend 4 years on a course.
Yeah, you can start your business in a few months or a month rather than
not to mention the limit is exponential rather than the linear growth of a degree, but that's not really the point. So
I just wanted to put that in there as like the price tag of the course. But yeah, dude, it sounds like it's an awesome business that I am definitely like interested in. Not even just like the cleaning side, but just like the drop service side. You obviously hear of drop shipping all the time with like drop shipping products and stuff. I've never really put two and two together that you can do the same thing with services. when did you hear about this? What was it from? The guy that run the program that really like opened your eyes to drop services?
So I've heard of drop servicing for a long time now, probably years, but I had never, like, I had only heard of it for people drop servicing things like logo creation and things like that, where you go on Upwork, someone pays you $30, you pay someone a Fiverr $5, right? Okay. That's drop servicing. Yeah. But the whole like home service, like having a legit business with it, was something I heard for the first time from John, who has a TikTok. Okay. I saw his TikToks, and like when you hear something new, it piques your interest, especially for me. Like I'm on business TikTok, business Instagram, all those, and a lot of it's the same, right? Everybody's talking about Amazon, affiliate marketing, copywriting, drop shipping, crypto, all of that, right? So when I'm on my For You page and I see John talking about home cleaning, I'm like, what? So it piqued my interest. I started going through some videos. I scheduled me a call, and I ended up going with it. So I had first heard of this type of drop servicing through John, who's one of the owners of the program. Yeah.
That's a good niche to be in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was more so my question. I've heard of, obviously, like, I meant like physical drop servicing. I've never heard of that until your Instagram page. I'm like, dude, that's actually an insane idea. So, more questions about the business. Are you targeting your local area, or can you legit get jobs in California, New York, like just all these different states, like legit all over the U.S., or are you targeting specific cities?
So, I the way I think you're asking that question is like, are you asking, can you start your business anywhere? Or are you asking, do I personally like do jobs in multiple different areas?
Do you personally do jobs in multiple different areas?
No, I focus on my city. I live in Buffalo, so I focus on Western New York. So right now I'm covering Erie County. We're going to be expanding. We're going to be expanding into several other counties in the area. Usually you stick to a certain area just because you don't want to. It's way easier to do it that way. But you don't, like, sort of adding on to that, you don't have to start it local to you. Like, I chose to do that just because I felt it would be easier. I know the landscape. I know the market, that kind of stuff. But there's people that start them across the country and they do well. You know, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. I personally, if I were to go back, I probably still would do Buffalo area, but if I do this again, you know, once I automate this business and I start another one, I obviously won't do it in the same location. I'll probably do it in some other state, in a city that's untapped that I feel like I can carve out my business for. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But you usually focus on like one city, one area, eventually one state, one region. But you're definitely not doing, nationally. It's not something that is common in the industry.
Yeah, you answered my question well, because where my hometown is a pretty small town, pretty poor town, there's not very many neighborhoods, from my knowledge, that are getting cleaning services done. So I was just thinking, like, more broadly, like I want to target like rich neighborhood areas where you can obviously close like higher end deals, that type of thing, rather than targeting my home city, where like the top dollar I could get for like a cleaning service might be $100 a job. Like, you know what I mean? More like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'll say this. I think you'd be surprised, because Buffalo's ranked as like one of the most poverty-driven cities in America. But I've done pretty well. Yeah, if you look that up, where we have like one of the highest homeless rates or something like that. Oh wow! Like you'd be surprised, but there's always areas or towns in every city that has some form of wealth everywhere. There's not a city in America that won't have some success doing this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of I know Jyles and I are kind of we're pretty close to the same hometown, and the poorer communities, I would say, are, I don't want to say slobbier, but that tends to be the case. There's, like, someone's yard is just full of broken down cars, stuff like that. And I would think that while, they can't afford a ton, but cleaning would be a great industry, because again, everyone is just kind of, I don't know what the word for it is. You know what I'm trying to say? They're not neat. They don't clean up after themselves. And people pay for convenience because our whole state, or especially our hometowns, are lazy. But again, I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of piggybacking off that too, you'd be surprised how many people that really are not in a financial position where they should be outsourcing something as simple as cleaning do outsource cleaning. I have people that will tell me like, hey, like I've done cleans for people where they're like, hey, I can't get another one for another couple of months because I have to save up to get this clean. Like if you have to save up to purchase a $200 clean, like should you really be doing these cleans? Probably not. I'm not going to stop you, but it is something that you can keep in mind. You'd be surprised how many people are, you know, again, not in a financial situation to do that, but they still do. And then kind of piggybacking off that too, I know you mentioned like, you know, bigger cities, like you have to keep in mind, yes, there's a lot more wealth. So it's like, let's use Miami as an example. Tons of wealth in Miami right now and has been for a while. But yes, your cleans are going to be a lot more expensive. Yes, you're going to have a bigger client base, but you're also going to be spending a ton more on your advertisements and you're going to be competing with a lot more people, right? So it kind of evens itself out in that sense. You know, like my ad cost for Google LSA is what we use is about $38 per call. Whereas in Miami, it's like $80 a call. So it's over double for the same exact thing. So got to keep that in mind, you know?
Wow. No, that's
how would
you points that you brought up.
With your perspective and experience so far, how would you say a business like this would do in a college town? I will say a pretty financially wealthy college town on the adult side of it.
I think that it's definitely got some potential. There's advantages and disadvantages, right? You have to think most college kids, even if it's a wealthier college town, most college kids are dirt broke. Again, I've already said some dirt broke people still will find the way to get a clean. It's not something like I haven't personally cleaned a dorm room, but I did clean a frat house. But their moms paid for it. So, you know, give or take there. There's plenty of colleges around me too. So I do clean in those same towns. I don't necessarily think it's the college students, but college towns, I think, I don't know that I'd started just because it's a college town in that location, but I wouldn't say it hurts or helps. You know, it's just kind of there.
More so the landlords, you know, once leasing season comes through, they're like, hey, I'm going to fix this place up to look good for the next renters.
Yeah.
If that could have been like something reoccurring, that's the big thing here is everyone's super compact. It's a pretty small town with a lot of people. So, again, all apartments, houses, stuff like that are within walking distance on campus. And, yeah, I think it'd be worth a while to check out. But, yeah, I thought I'd ask you.
Yeah, absolutely. I know my one buddy, Elias, who's in the group, and he's also in the Buffalo area. So one of my competitors, in quotations, he's the one that does the window installation now, but he also has a small cleaning company. He did a dorm room for a college student, and they gave him a fake credit card. So that's a quick little tad bit. He had to file a police report. He was out a few hundred others. So I'm not saying all college students are like that, but I would assume the likelihood of that happening is probably a little higher with college students. So just something to add on to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know our college they do all the cleaning in-house for dorm rooms, so that hopefully rules out that aspect. But again, I don't know, college students are capable of anything.
That is so true.
So let's break down your like pricing and servicing. So
Sure.
Do you price by square foot clean? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I price based on square footage and then bedroom bathroom count. That's generally how I price. Yeah. Sometimes I do hourly though.
So let's say, okay, 6 bedrooms, 4 baths. And I don't know square footage, but give me like a. Oh, do you have like a
500
software tip?
I do. So it goes up to 5 bedrooms. I'll give you 5 bedrooms. I'll do a 5-bed, 4-bath. That's probably going to be 3,000 minimum square feet, probably like 3,500-ish. And for a one-time, or let's go for a deep clean. Yeah, you want a deep clean, I could tell. A deep clean for that would be $529. Yeah. Now, from what I've heard, I actually do offer cheaper services than a lot of people.
Okay.
Go ahead, you're good.
That's interesting. I don't know what I have a rough idea of what my uncle and aunt pay for their house or this house that I'm in now. Let me think how many. I think 3, 4, technically 4 bedrooms, maybe 2, 3, 2.5 baths, I believe. I think they pay $200 or $250. Does that sound about?
That's cheap,
right?
That's very
4
cheap.
bedrooms, 2.5 baths, maybe.
4-bed, 2.5 bath. That's probably like 2,000 square feet. That's cheap. Well, do you know if they hire a company or do they hire independent cleaners?
I think it's independent cleaners, if I had to guess.
That would be why. Yeah.
So that
they could always charge cheap.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So what's the cheapest service you'll do? 1 bedroom.
I do not.
Will you take that client?
I will take that client. A lot of the times, I mean, even for a 1-bed, 1-bath, that's still going to be like $150 clean usually.
Right.
But the cheapest job I will ever do is like $100, just because anything less is not worth my time. I do have one client right now who's on weekly for $95, but it's the same thing, right?
Right.
So it's weekly, right? That adds up. I'd rather just do that. But most of the time, I won't take anything less than $100. But 99% of the time, people are going to have services that are well beyond $100. So my average clean, I think last month was around 200, a little less than that, I think. So kind of frame of reference there.
So how are you getting in contact with the clients? It's the software you mentioned, right? And then you're cold calling. Is that what it is? Or not necessarily cold calling? It's through the software.
Not necessarily. It's the ad platforms that I use. The big one is Google LSA. LSA stands for Local Service Ads. So right now, if you go on Google and you search cleaning near me, if you do that, there will be on the top of your page 2 or 3 results. It'll say Google guaranteed, and it'll have a little green check mark, and it'll have like 2 or 3 businesses listed. Those people are advertising with Google LSA. Next to their names, there's usually a call button, maybe a message button, but there'll always be a call button. If you go ahead and call that person, you're going to charge them like $30, $40. Really? Yeah. So, I mean, the cheapest ad cost that I've seen is like $25, but most people are around the $35, $40 price mark. So that's how I advertise. So that when people call me, you only get charged when people actually call you. It's not like a lot of advertisements where you get paid for people to see your ad. I only get paid when people actually call me. So no one's going to actually call me if they're not actually interested in getting the service, right? They're not going to call and say, hey, what's up, right? You know, when they're going to call and ask about a cleaning service, right? And then it's my job to close that client. But that's the biggest ad platform. Yes, it's very expensive. Like I said, I pay like $38 is my average lead cost. But if I'm closing at like a 70% close rate, it works out. Plus then reoccurring, right? So it's a one-time ad cost. I turn that into reoccurring. It makes me pretty good money. So that's the biggest advertiser. And that's how I connect with like 99% of my clients. I do have a little bit of organic now where people will find my website. That's been nice. Like last week, I had like 4 bookings through my website, which is just absurd. That never happens. That was $1,400 in organic bookings. And that's just absurd. Because before that, it was like 5 ever. And then I have 4 in 1 week. So hoping that continues because I like it. But, you know, there's the organic side. There's the LSA side. I'm on social media. That's all organic. And then I've tried Yelp ads. Those didn't go too well. And And then you're right. I do cold calling. I cold call commercial businesses, though. I don't cold call like residential, but I do cold call commercial. Super low closing rate on that, but I do have one client that I have right now for commercial. But I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more of that. So that's how I get my clients.
You think you'll start decreasing your ad spend once you get more clientele and a word of mouth kind of becomes one of your primary sources of lead?
Yeah, definitely. I know for a fact that, once I have a big enough reoccurring customer base, that I'll definitely tone back the ads. But I don't even though right now my budget for advertisements on Google is $50,000 per week, but I'll never spend more than $300, $400 in a week, right? There's only so many people that are going to call you no matter what. Right. So, I mean, in theory, yeah, I'll probably eventually just turn it off and just rely on the word of mouth because I won't need to have it on. But then again, I think to myself, I'm always going to want to grow the business. You know what I mean? Right. So, double-edged sword there, I guess.
Time will tell, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the coming months or years, what systems are you looking to put in place to obviously continue to build the business, maintain the business, where you can be hands-off? Okay, I hired this person's going to do all the management work, and I have all my cleaners ready to go. What systems are you going to build up to in the next, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months,
Yeah, so in this business, you can onboard VAs just like you would Amazon. I intend to do so once I cross that 5-figure revenue month, which hopefully will be this month. I will begin to think about it and then onboard it for simple things like following up with customers or taking sales calls. That could be something that I'm probably going to wait a little bit to outsource because I like doing that and I'm pretty good at it. But doing all the back-end stuff, the scheduling, processing payments, reaching out to confirming appointments with cleaners, doing that kind of stuff, that's all very easy to automate. You just have to plug someone in and then pay them, of course. So that's definitely something I want to do. Of course, taking myself out of the business is a huge goal. Hiring, I think that's something I'll probably always do. Maybe I'll outsource it, but once you have a good team, hopefully you keep it. I don't know a ton because I'm still very brand new to this, right? So I'm still learning and thinking about all this stuff a ton myself. So I do know that I do want to import VAs to do a lot of the work. And eventually I do want to fully remove myself from the business. And I could see that happening in the next 6 months. That's a very realistic possibility for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are the pros and cons you've seen so far in this business?
Yeah, so the pros are your margins are very healthy. I don't know about cons. I mean, really, you can theoretically you could have a lot backfire on you. You could have cleaners that steal things from customers. That's a whole process you got to go. Do all your police report nonsense like that. You could have customers that don't pay. You can have unhappy customers. You can have people that can try and sue you. All this, all that. Those are risks, of course, and those can be considered cons, but there's risks in every business, right? And there's cons in every business. I think the pros far outweigh the cons. Another huge pro is this is the type of business that you can, it's a tangible asset that you can sell. You can usually sell your cleaning business for about 10 times your monthly revenue. That's kind of the estimate that I've seen. So, last month I did $8,500. If I, stay consistent with that, that's an $85,000 business, right? That I can legitimately exit. That's something you can legitimately exit. So, I think that's a huge, huge pro, in my opinion, along with the healthy margins. You don't have to reinvest. You can automate it pretty much 100%. Those are all pros, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's awesome. Have you had any of the cons happen yet? Have you had unhappy customers? Have you had a cleaning lady take someone to watch? Anything like that?
So I haven't had anybody steal anything yet, thank God. I've had unhappy customers, yes. I had a cleaner for me that I stuck with for far too long, caused me tons of issues, cost me a lot of money to have her as my cleaner, but I was still new. I didn't have anybody else, so I'm like, I gotta stick with her, right? Big mistake. would go back and fire her within the first month if I could, to be completely honest. But so I've had plenty of customers that are unhappy, in which case I used to default to like, hey, I'll give you a refund, right? Now I'm more of like hey, we'll send the cleaner back. We have a satisfaction guarantee. We're going to make sure you're satisfied with your clean. We're not going to give you a refund because we have that satisfaction guarantee. And I've had to send a cleaner back. I mean, recently I did one time because and it wasn't really her fault. There was a couple missed things, but they had this massive dog crate in the way, so the cleaner couldn't clean it. So I said, hey, as soon as you get that out, we'll come back. We'll finish up that spot along with, there was like 2 missed things, right? So that happens sometimes. And then I had another one where the cleaner did a deep clean and missed like a couple cobwebs that were like pretty high up in the ceiling corners. Went back, fixed it, took an hour, easy, right? And then you turn the customers happy. So you do, it's going to happen. There's going to be customers that are not satisfied. But majority of the time they are going to be satisfied. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the goal at least, right? But I have run into it, yeah. Another one. Yeah, quickly. As far as not paying, I don't think I've run into that yet. I had one clean where it was like, I still have it, where the guy locks his card. So I had to like tell him, hey, can you unlock the card so I could charge it? And he does. He's only like not gone back to me one time, and I was panicking a little bit because he's a recurring client. And I'm like, oh God, what did I do? Am I going to get paid? He did pay, but it was a little bit of a jump scare there. But yeah, other than that, like I said, my guy Elias, he had that one college student that gave him the fake card, and that was a several $100 clean. So he's been skipped on that. I did recently do my first clean where I took cash or check. Went well. I'm going to try to avoid it, but if the customer demands it, I will go through with it. I don't want to lose the customer. You know what I mean? So there's a risk there as well, but I haven't run into it a ton. But then again, I'm still very, very new.
Yeah, that's people definitely have balls if they're not going to pay for a clean or giving someone a fake credit card. Just in terms of, I know where you sleep at night. Like, what are you doing?
It's true.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
That makes the police report easy.
Yep.
Yeah. Like,
you know exactly where they live. The only problem where it could be a problem is, I know this has happened to the guy Parker, who's now one of the owners. He was telling a story how pretty recently he had a customer who skipped out on payment or something like that, and it was a move out clean. So she moved out of the house, so he didn't know where she moved to. She blocked his number. He had 4 phone numbers. He has 4 phone numbers. So he contacted her from all of them. I don't actually know that story resolved, but that is one thing where if it's a move out clean, you don't know where they're going to be now, and you don't have any info, But
I was going to say, it sounds like those occurrences are pretty rare. Whereas Amazon, the return rate is pretty consistent, like 5 to 8%.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just, you have to get used to it. But this sounds like they're one-offs, and majority of the time you're in the clear, but that's good to hear.
Absolutely.
Hi, Dave, would you like to do like a little role play as if I'm calling you to have a clean at my house?
We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Ring.
Hang on, let me ring. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know. Are you good? Ring.
You want to ring?
Is this David?
Usually I'll answer. And I will say, hey, hi, this is David with Weekly WNY. How can I help you? And then,
hey, I'm just looking for a house clean, and I saw your ad on Google.
Yeah, sure. So, are you looking for a quote today?
Yes.
Sure, yeah. So, I'd love to get you that quote. Can I just get a little more info from you first, starting with your name?
Jyles.
Perfect. All right, Jyles. Well, what kind of clean were you looking for? Were you looking for a deep clean, standard clean, move out clean? What were you looking for?
Deep clean.
Sure. And how often were you looking to get these deep cleans done? Was this a one-time clean, or did you want to be on a reoccurring basis, maybe monthly, weekly, something like that?
Yeah, once a month. The first of every month, if possible.
Yeah, we could definitely work that out for you. All right, Jyles, how many bedrooms and bathrooms is your home?
3 beds, 2 baths.
3 beds, 2 baths. You got it. Do you know your square footage by chance?
I do not.
You do not. Okay. Can I grab your address? That way I can find it for you.
Randomaddress123.com.
Proceeds to Zillow that address. All right. It looks like your 3-bed, 2-bath is about 1,600 square feet. All righty. I got that in there. Now. Sure. Now, with the deep clean, we do include most things, but some of the things that aren't included are inside the refrigerator, inside the cabinets. Are either of those something that you were interested in getting done?
No, thank you.
All right, sure. And then when were you looking to get your first clean done? I know you said the first. Is that when you want to start your next clean?
Yeah, the first would be perfect.
Perfect. Did you have a time of day that you preferred for that clean, or are you pretty flexible?
The morning, if possible, between
Sure,
9 and
yeah.
11.
Yeah, sure. So normally our price for a monthly deep clean would be let me see here. I'm looking at my quote. Normally I wouldn't stumble. It would be $324, but since you're a first-time customer, we can knock $50 off and bring it down to $274 for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Great. Let's book you in then. So I have you in here for the first at 9 a.m. Only other thing that I need from you would just be a card number. I'm ready when you are.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right, Jyles, we got you booked in here. We have everything we need. I'm going to be able to send you a text confirmation, just confirming everything once I contact the cleaner, and we're going to get you in on yada, yada, yada. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, David.
Of course. Yeah.
That's sick.
What would you do if your cleaners showed up and nobody was there to let them in?
Yeah, so that happened to me recently, last month, I believe it was. It was either last month or February. I had a cleaner show up. She was knocking on the door. Didn't hear anything. We both, the cleaner was calling the customer. I was calling the customer. I texted the customer. Nothing, right? Going right to voicemail. So I told the cleaner, hey, wait around for another 5-10 minutes. Keep knocking. I'll keep calling. Nothing. So I said, okay, you're good to go. And I said, I'll pay you the $25 cancellation fee, which normally we have a $50 cancellation fee if either someone cancels within 24 hours or doesn't answer the door or something like that. But in that situation, it was the first clean of a monthly service. So if it was a one-time clean, I would have, maybe been a little different. But I gave the customer, I was going to give her 8 hours to contact me. If she didn't contact me, she's getting the cancellation fee. But she ended up calling me back 2 hours later and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was in my office and we don't have great cell service in there. So I didn't hear you knocking and I wasn't getting the calls. So, and she was super apologetic. And I said, okay, great. We can just reschedule. She goes, sure. And I told her, hey, if we show up and you're not there or you don't answer the door, we're going to charge you the $50 cancellation fee. She goes, oh, you got it. No problem. But yeah, under normal circumstances, I'll always try and reschedule first. If that doesn't work, then it's a $50 cancellation fee. But that does happen every once in a while. Very uncommon, though.
You definitely want the customer value over the cancellation fee.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
This business is very you kind of hit on it earlier too, that you can kind of apply this to any service, and you said with the windows, so once you kind of get the first process done and you get your first business started and you create those systems, you can just rinse and repeat, it sounds like, for multiple different businesses. Absolutely. And even
exactly
if
right.
you do multiple different I don't know, it's awesome to see. Like I said,
it's cool.
I saw your Instagram a few weeks ago about this cleaning service. I'm like, dude, I've never even thought about, if I can close a deal at $300 and pay someone $150 and net the $150, dude, that's a great business model.
Yep, that's exactly right.
How often would you say, or how much would you say you work per day or per week, per month, however you kind of gauge that?
So I put a lot of time into it. Here's the thing. I don't know how to gauge how much time I actually put into it, because a lot of the time it's I'm doing other work. And then if I get a call, I'm going to then take the call, right? It's not like I'm sitting there just staring at my phone waiting for someone to call. But you know, I have everything set up. I mean, the things that I have to do on a daily basis is I check in with the cleaners for their cleans for the day. I follow up with the customers. I do some cold calling. But then the rest of the day is really just doing, you know, Amazon stuff and waiting for calls, doing my personal life, that kind of stuff. Right. But it definitely takes more time, I would say, than the Amazon business, just because, you know, I'm getting those calls when I'm doing stuff for the program that I'm in. I'm going in there, I'm engaging, joining those group calls, learning, that kind of stuff. But I don't have a straight answer for you as to how much time I put in. I would just say a lot, a lot. Let's say a lot.
I tell people I work a few hours a day. Yeah, I mean, granted, I could work 8 hours today and 0 tomorrow, and it's still even out kind of the same. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good trade-off, given a little more time for the non-intensive capital business that is compared to Amazon, especially.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I love that you don't have to have cash flow in order to get this business rolling. I mean, even if you didn't do the Google ads, you could be cold calling 8 hours a day, or hire someone for $15 an hour, cold call 8 hours a day, and close deals at commercial places, or even residentials, or even so you close a deal or close a clean for someone in some neighborhood, and go there and knock doors, and be like, hey, we just did a clean for John over there. Are you interested in deep cleans? Like, there's so many different ways you can go about getting clients, I guess. Which is kind of cool, because like you always see, like especially if you're on business TikTok or business social media, you'll see pressure washing. You'll see that a lot, about, especially in the summer.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you can make X amount a month pressure washing, and it's a lot of door knocking, a lot of cold calling, stuff like that. Seems like similar thing, but like you said, you get 99% of your clients from the Google ads, which I've never heard of until today, which is kind of cool. That every time someone calls you, it's someone interested in your service, and Google charges you X amount per call, or $38, or if you're in Miami, $88, or whatever it is, and you know that person is interested in your service. So it's not like getting rejected for 300 times a day, and finally you have someone saying, this is awesome, let's do it. So I don't know. Yeah. That's a cool, I guess, customer outreach, how to obtain customers.
Yeah. And I hadn't heard of Google LSA before I started either. But it's very big, and again, it's very expensive. So I guess that's why a lot of people stay away from it. But yeah, like you were saying, they're super high quality leads. You know, no one's going to actually call you if they don't want your service, or are actually serious about getting your service. And if, you know, sometimes you'll get people that'll call and they'll ask for something like super outlandish, and you can dispute those leads and then you don't get charged for them. Like, I had someone the other day call, like, this was like last week, 2 weeks ago. They called me and they're like, hey, can you do dishes for me? So like, no, we can't do dishes for you. Now, dishes is a service we offer, but that's an add-on, right? I'm not going to just do a $15 dishes job. So, you know, I got my dispute back. I didn't have to pay for that lead, but it's like, it's one of two things. Either you're really lazy, or you have a lot of dishes. So either way, I don't want any part of it. So yeah, that was one of the...
Your website's sick, though.
You're looking at it?
Yeah, it was...
Yeah. I paid for...
I like the hours really stuck out, 8 to 8, Sunday through Sunday. That's,
true.
That really sticks out, so I like that.
Yep. Always on call.
Yeah, well, it's nice being an entrepreneur, most of the time.
Yeah, I guess getting into always on call, like, say you do take that vacation to wherever you went halfway through December, I guess you can turn off your ads. But if you have reoccurring clients, you're of course going to have to still check in with your cleaners, check in with the customer feedback, all that good stuff. So I guess that's kind of a con, you can say, that you don't really have. Like with Amazon, you can technically take a week off and like be fine as long as you have the correct systems in place. And I guess that's kind of the same thing with cleaning. But whenever you're actually dealing with customers, I feel like it's a little more hands-on.
Absolutely, yeah. But like you said, you can automate it too. It's just like right now, Like I'm planning a trip for like May, June-ish. I'll be gone for a few weeks. So it's like, I'll still probably turn on my ad for a little bit of the time because, you know, why not? But you're right. I'm going to have to follow up with customers. That's something I can't just escape. But if I were to plug in a VA, I could do that too, right? So, you know, we're just gonna.
I'll let it. Go ahead, Michael.
No, you're good. No, I'll let Dave finish first.
No, I'm good.
I was just gonna say, I mean, it's one of the upsides again about being a remote, you know, entrepreneur is that you can take that vacation and answer your phone, and not have to be present to actually get work done.
Yeah,
that's one thing I love about Amazon too. Is like I'll take my laptop, can work for 3 hours on vacation the whole week and call it good.
Exactly.
And that's what I did when I went on spring break. So
yeah, I kind of forget what I was gonna say, but
my bad.
no, you're good. You're good. I don't know. I forget what I was gonna say, but any other I don't know. Anything else about the cleaning business that you have questions on, Michael? Anything you want to share, David, that we kind of missed? I feel like we covered a lot. I definitely,
Yeah, like we kind of.
I learned a lot. It definitely piques my interest in the drop service business as a whole, which is interesting. And I've always wanted to kind of get more into like the sales type of businesses, just because I think it'd be fun. Learning sales techniques and closing deals, which is sick. So,
yeah.
Oh wait, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what does the customer like outreach look like after a clean? Do you always hit up customers, hey, how's the clean? Are you satisfied? All that good stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, truth be told, I probably should be calling right now. I just text them, hey, heard the clean went well. And then, you know, maybe a little tad bit if the cleaner told me like recently I had a clean that was a deep clean for a move in, move out clean where the home's going to get remodeled. So it's like the cleaner told me, wow, it's such a beautiful home and has so much potential. So I threw that in my text. I was like, hey, I heard the clean went well with Kate. I heard your home is, you know, going to look great after your remodel. Hope you have a great rest of your day, something like that. And then if someone has a problem, they'll let you know. They're not going to just hide that from you. They'll be like, well, David, here's a picture of something you missed, right? You know what I mean? And it's like, I haven't had it yet where someone's been really upset, like really mad. But what I'm going to do when that happens, because it's going to happen, is I'll just tell them, hey, call me. We could talk it out. Because people are very scared to pick up the phone and call and actually talk about it. People are very much a lot of bark over text, but no bite on the phone, right? So like I know like Parker's had that happen where he's had people that they'll be yelling over text, like terrible things saying to him over text, right? And he'll be all caps and he'll just say, hey, call me. We'll talk about it. We'll figure out something that works. And then that person never talks to him again. So like, you know, people are scared to talk. Exactly. Problem solved, right? So, yeah, I mean, my customer follow-up is usually just a text. Like when I do import a VA, I will have them call. But the only thing that I see a problem with calling is, you know, maybe like 30% of the time, the customer isn't home when we do the clean. So it's like, am I going to call them right after the clean's done? They're not even going to be home to see it, right? So when I do have a VA, I will have them call and do that same follow-up over the phone because it is more professional. It is smarter. I don't know. I probably should do it. I'm just a little scared to do it, truth be told. I don't want to get yelled at over the phone, even though I know it won't happen. My texting has worked. So I don't know. But yeah, that's what I do. I just text.
Yeah, I personally think a text is fine.
Yeah.
If I were paying for a cleaning service and like they're calling me after the service, it's like I would probably think of it like, okay, yeah, it went well, but like at the same time, why are you calling me? Just send me a text and I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially our generation. Yeah.
And I always follow up too. Yeah.
Good.
Because I know there's people that won't follow up. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if you follow up, it just, I don't know, makes your business that much better in terms of just like, I don't know, being personable, and instead of just being like service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same with like throwing in the the touch on the remodeling home. You throw in something that is relatable with. I mean, even in like an interview, if you touch on something in a follow-up email, then that interviewer is going to remember you more than 99% of the other candidates.
Yeah. Another example of that is I just had a clean 2 or 3 days ago, last week, and it was a move-in clean. Like the guy, it was the landlord. He said his tenant's moving in on Saturday, so the clean was on Friday. And in my follow-up text, I said, hey, heard the clean went great with yada, yada, and your tenants are going to think the place is like something about the tenants moving in and thinking it's incredible. And he's like, yes, thank you so much. That guy actually tipped the cleaner $100 and an Easter basket. So she was thrilled with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yep. So, like something simple like that.
100% of tips?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I would assume not many people tip on something like that, but I'm be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly because I feel like most people would tip in cash. I do have people that will message me and say, hey, can I do a tip over the card? And it's like, yeah, you could do one. And I have people that do tip, but it is pretty uncommon over the card. But as far as in person, I don't know, right? I don't know.
It's cash. You won't ever know.
I won't know. I will not know.
Sweet. Well, anything else, Mike? Anything else, Dave?
No, we've grilled David.
Yeah, we pretty much covered everything.
That's awesome,
yeah, of course.
Dude. It's a great like business model as a whole. I'm very intrigued by it.
Yeah,
I agree.
I love it. Yeah, dude. I appreciate you coming on here and sharing your personal experiences and just having shown us a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally think it's like the next big thing that people are going to talk about. So glad I'm getting in early, but quote me on that. You can quote.
I was going to say it's definitely one of those small emerging markets. It feels like.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it, Dave. Go follow. What's your Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Plug.
DaveDoesEcom, and then I've been way more active on TikTok recently. So if you just search the same thing, Dave does ecom, David Volpe, I'll come up. I got a couple hundred followers. Making a big eye here. So posting videos all about what we talked about, including some Amazon stuff. So tons of value there. Hit me with a follow. Thank you.
Sweet. Get followed, David. Appreciate it once again. And talk to you later then.